Namaste, Yogi. Thanks for tuning in. Today's class is going to be focused on back bends, but we've only got about 30 minutes here. If you want the extended version of this class, which is 75 minutes, you can head on over to our Patreon community. The link is below in the description. All of our classes there are no less than 60 minutes. Thank you for joining me today here on the mat. If you want some music to play during class, you can find a lot of our playlists on Spotify. Link is also in the description below, along with links to just about everything else. The mats that we use, the equipment that we use, everything kind of about us that you could possibly purchase is all there below. So we get a lot of questions about what kind of camera to use and what lens. Everything's below in the description. So check it out. And all you need today for class is just your mat, your body, and your breath, of course. Whenever you're ready to begin, let's do it. We're going to start on our back in half Shavasana. Legs bent, you can rest the knees together. The hands come down to your sides. Close the eyes, start to deepen the breath. Just take the next few breaths here to really step into the present moment, to welcome yourself on the mat, knowing that the next 30 or so minutes are devoted just to you, your body, your breath, your mind. You can either keep the eyes closed or you can open them. We'll come into a supine twist on the left, so bring both legs over to the left side of your body. Extend your right arm out to your side. The left hand can be resting on the outer right thigh or on the rib cage. With each exhale, you just melt into the twist. You're not forcing yourself or pulling your way into it. You're just relaxing into it, feeling that twist in the spine. We'll have lots of time to warm up into these back bends, so there's no need to force anything or try to overdo it. Help your knees back to center and take both knees over to the right. Extend the left arm out to the side. Again, maybe close the eyes. Put the attention back on the breath. Relax the muscles in the feet, the face, the stomach. Just melt into this twist effortlessly. It's okay if it doesn't look the same way that my twist looks like. Of course it's going to look different. You're in a different body. So as long as you feel the twist in your mid-back, and it's all good. You want to make every pose work for you. Bring the knees back up to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Rock left and right. And then roll onto one side and push your way up to a comfortable seat. Blink open the eyes if they're not already there. And then cross the ankles, come into a tabletop. Come onto the tops of the feet. A few rounds of cat-cow, let the belly sink down, gaze forward. Tip the tailbone up to the sky. And then exhale, start to round the back. Tuck the chin to the chest and really push the ground away. So you're tucking the tailbone as much as you can, finding that dome in the back. And then inhale, gaze forward, let the belly sink. And exhale back. This time as you inhale, let the belly sink down. And then you're going to start to sort of barrel roll your core, your abdomen, over to the right. And then start to dome, come into that cat pose, and then bring the core over to the left, and then lower down, back to cow. So let's do 3 more circles. Sort of just barrel rolling your chest, tipping your tailbone up and down. Last one. We meet back in cow pose and then switch directions. So keep the arms straight. Try to increase that flexion and extension of the spine each time you come into that barrel roll. Last one. Big circle. And back to a neutral spine. We'll do a wrist warm up, but first sit back on the heels, stretch out the feet. And then slide the hands just a few inches away from the knees. Start to shift the weight forward over the wrists or over the knuckles or fingers. And for you, maybe your wrists are not quite as flexible, and that's fine. Nothing to force. So maybe for you, it looks more like this. And that's okay. As long as you feel the stretch in the wrists, it's all good. Sway your body left and right. And then point the fingers towards the knees. Keep the arms straight again. Sit back towards the heels. Maybe the wrists lift off. Breathe into the stretch. Start to engage that Ujjayi breath if that's part of your practice. Come onto the backs of the hands, fingertips point towards the knees. Sit back towards the heels. Wrists lift off. Again, sway left and right. You're just exploring and inviting sensations of the stretch in the wrists. You're not forcing yourself or trying to go deep or trying to increase the flexibility of the wrists. Like, that will all come over time. All we're doing here is introducing flexion and extension in the wrists so that they can be ready to support the weight of our body throughout our practice. Great, come back to a tabletop. Lift the knees, downward dog. Pedal out the legs. Really push the ground away so you're not collapsing your chest cavity into your shoulder sockets or into your humerus bones. You want to really push and lift up so you have as much length as you can from your hips to your wrists. Now, if you're in a downward dog and your heels don't touch the ground, that's perfectly fine. We're just looking for that length in the upper back. However, if you can touch your heels to the ground and you still don't feel a stretch here, for some people, that's true. They're just already very flexible. So if that's you, then set the heels down and then just bring the hips over to the right. Keep the legs straight and then bring the hips over to the left. So one more time each side. Maybe you can feel that stretch in your calves now. We all meet back in a neutral downward dog. Inhale, shift forward, high plank, shoulders over wrists. Hips same height as the knees. Push the ground away. Shift forward, high on the toes, knees up or down, lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck the toes, Inhale, lift the chest, engage the glutes, baby cobra. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, lift it up. Maybe lift your hands up off the ground just a little bit. So you're really using your back muscles to keep your chest lifted. Neck is neutral, gaze is down just a couple inches above your mat. Engage the quads to press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Hold here. Breathe. And exhale, lower down. Either through child's pose or high plank to downward dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee, open stack the hip. Start to bring your right heel close to your right glute, and then flex your right foot so your right toes point towards your right knee. Lift that right knee just a little bit higher. So you're really activating your right hamstring. Left heel lifts off. Exhale, right knee to nose. Shoulder stack over wrists. Hold here. Flex the right foot, step it between the hands. Low lunge. Set down the left knee. Untuck the back toes. And then inhale as you interlace hands behind the back. Roll the shoulders open. And start to send the hands down the left hamstring. Engage the left glute. Maybe the gaze starts to come up towards the ceiling. Release the hands, half splits. Start to straighten your right leg. Right toes point up to the sky. Rebend the right knee. Warrior 3 prep. Float forward, that left leg floats off. Left leg is completely straight and engaged. The left toes are pointing down towards the ground. So you have a lift of the inner left thigh up towards the ceiling. Broaden the collarbones, a little lift in the chest, just like we did in Baby Cobra. Little micro bend in the right knee. Rebend the right knee, we meet in crescent pose. Left foot touches down back of the mat, both arms reach up to the sky. Your right knee is above your right ankle, and the right knee is tracking over your second toe of that front foot. So if you notice that your knee is too far out or too far in, get it to track the same direction as your right foot. Left heel is stacked on top of the ball of the foot, maybe a little bend in the left knee. So you really feel that stretch in the front side left hip flexor and even the quad. Now keep the legs where they're at. That front leg is almost 90 degrees. And then begin to cactus the arms down to your sides so the biceps, triceps are parallel to the ground. And then inhale, just start to open the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, bring the arms together in front of you. Maybe the elbows touch in the front. It's okay if they don't. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Let's go for 3 more. Move with the breath. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale, close. Move slowly through the transition. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, open twist. Left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, reverse it back. Left arm reaches up over your head, right hand to the back of the left leg. A little bit of a twist, a little bit of a back bend. And as you exhale, cartwheel the arms, spider lunge to the left. Skandasana, left leg is bent. Right leg is straight. We'll take high spider's lunge. So both soles of the feet are down on the ground. And then move towards the front of your mat, lizard lunge. Rebend the right leg, heel toe the right foot towards the right side edge of your mat, so both hands are on the inside of that right foot. Take a moment here, make some circles with the hips. And then set down the left knee. For a quad stretch on the left side, you could either just stay here, this is already enough. Otherwise, if you want to add a little bit of a back bend into that as well, and increase the quad stretch, then you can begin to bend the left leg, reach back with your right hand, hold on to the outside edge of your left foot. Gently pull the heel towards the glute. As you open your chest up towards the right, option to bring your right knee out to the right side. If you do, then come onto the knife edge of the right foot as well. Release the back foot if you had it held. Left toes come back down to the ground, tuck them under, lift the left knee up. We meet in Wild Thing. So the right leg comes behind the left. The toes touch down. Left leg is straight. You're on the knife edge of the left foot. Inhale, reach right arm up over your head. Engage the glutes, lift the hips even more. As you exhale, follow the gaze of your right hand down to the mat, side plank on the right. Stack the feet. Engage the glutes, engage the core, cinch in the ribs and the lower belly. Left arm reaches up to the sky. And exhale, left forearm down to the ground. And then the right forearm meets it, forearm plank. The arms are parallel to each other, like railroad tracks. Tuck the tailbone under, engage the core, and then really lift up out of your shoulders. So it's almost like your shoulder blades are gliding off your back. If you need to set the knees down, you can, but we're almost there. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently set down the knees, set down the hips, engage the glutes. Sphinx pose. Come onto the tops of the feet. Gaze straight ahead and broaden the collarbone. So if you're coming into this class or this practice with back pain, then of course you want to take it a little bit easier. Maybe don't go to the full extreme that you would like to go or as deep as you would like to go. Of course, it's great that you're still doing this class because back pain is usually caused from either underuse or overuse of your back. So it's great that you're still moving it. Awesome job. I know it's tough, but just make sure that you're not going beyond your limits for now, that you're still staying in a space of not aggravating it or making it worse by forcing yourself into any of these poses. Slowly lower the chest down. Bring the hands underneath the forehead, bend the knees, and windshield wiper the legs. Bring the hands under the shoulders again. Make your way into a tabletop. Bring the knees underneath the hips, hip distance apart, and you're on the tops of your feet. And then start to walk the hands back towards the knees, and then lift your chest up. Now bring your right hand behind you on your low back, and then start to sweep the left arm forward all the way around And then you're reaching that left arm towards the back right corner of your mat. As you engage your glutes, press the hips forward. And then as you release, sweep that left arm forward. The hips come close to the heels. Swing your right arm around, left hand to the low back. Engage the glutes, press the hips forward, reach that right arm up towards the left back corner of your mat. Release, sweep. We'll start to move with the breath. Inhale. And exhale through the transition over to the left. One more. With the hand at the low back. And now this time as we come over to the right, you have the option to either keep the hand on the low back or bring the right hand to the right heel. Left arm sweeps up over the head and your left arm reaches to the back of the room. Engage the glutes no matter what variation you took. As you come out of it, hips come close to the heels. Sweep the hand, left hand to the low back or the heel. Right arm up over your head. Let's do 2 more each side. Every time you come into that back bend, engage the glutes. Move with the breath. Beautiful. Release that left side. Sit back on the heels. Hero's pose. Hands come onto the thighs. Sit nice and tall. Close down the eyes. We take a few breaths in hero's pose or in a neutral spine position before we come into twists, especially before we come into any forward folds, because it's really good to neutralize the spine first. So just take a few breaths here. Enjoy this moment. If anything is coming up for you that feels a little off, or you feel dizzy or emotional or anything, it's all perfectly normal. It's part of the practice with back bends. So take 2 more deep breaths here and allow whatever you're experiencing to just be a part of the practice. Beautiful. Blink your eyes open. Make your way back to downward dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend the left knee, open stack the hips. Pull that left heel close to the left glute and bring the left knee up towards the ceiling. Come high on the ball of the right foot. Shift forward, left knee to nose. Shoulders stack over wrists. Hug the thigh into the chest, and then flex the foot, step it between the hands for low lunge. Gently set down the right knee. So your right ankle is underneath the right knee. You might need to walk your foot forward if it's not already there. And then interlace the hands behind the back as you lift the chest up. Roll the shoulders open. The heart reaches up towards the sky. Tuck the tailbone under, engage the right glute. By doing that, that will sort of tip your pelvis and increase the stretch on your right quad. Last breath here. And gently release, come into half splits, begin to straighten the left leg. Fingertips down to the ground. And instead of coming super deep into this forward fold, try to focus more on actually just reaching the crown of the head forward instead of down towards your left foot. focus more on stretching the left hamstring in this case instead. Last breath here. Rebend the left knee, warrior 3 prep. Right leg floats up and back. And having the right leg fully engaged, so all the muscles in the right leg are active, is way more important than having the leg super high so that it's parallel to the ground. So instead of this, it's even better to just straighten the leg, fully engage, and then try to lift it up. Last 2 breaths here. Make it good. Rebend the left knee, slowly transition to crescent. Arms reach up overhead. Might need to widen your stance so you have, again, almost 90 degrees with that left leg. A little bend in the right knee. Tuck your tailbone under, engage your right glute. Then again, cactus the arms. Almost like goalposts. You're winning, you're winning. And then inhale, open, and exhale, close. 4 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Try to focus so much more on the transition than you do the final pose. Can you move with control, with awareness in every moment on the mat? That awareness that you develop here is what you take off the mat and into the world. Inhale, arms to the sky. Open crescent twist, right arm forward, left arm back. And inhale, reverse, right arm to the sky, left hand to the back hamstring. I know that left quad is cooking. All good, hang in there, you got it. Cartwheel the hands, spider lunge to the right. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. Move to the front of the mat, lizard lunge. Heel toe your left foot out to the left. Take a moment here to roll out, rock out the hips. And then gently set the right knee down for that right side quad stretch. Otherwise, if you would like to take it into the back bend and increase the stretch, you can reach the left hand behind you. Bend the knee. Again, option to bring the left knee out. Take the left foot along with it if you do. The left toes are pulling up towards the left knee. Gentle twist. There's really so much going on in this pose. So take whatever variation works best in your body. We always want to make sure we're feeling good, not forcing ourselves into anything. Nice job. Release the back foot if you had it held. Both hands come back down to the mat, come onto the right toes, lift the right leg up. So the right leg is straight. Start to come onto the knife edge of the right foot. Wild thing. Left foot comes behind the right calf. Engage the glutes, lift the hips. Exhale, follow the left hand all the way into a left side plank. Switch the feet. Engage the core, engage the glutes. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Exhale, right forearm down to the mat. We meet in forearm plank. Bring your feet as wide as the mat, so step your legs a little bit wider. And then bring both heels down over to the right. And back up through center over to the left. Back over to the right. Over to the left. Let's do 3 more each side. So the whole time you still have that lift in the chest. You're creating as much space as you can between the mat and your chest. So you still have that space between the shoulder blades on your back. You're not letting your shoulder blades come together. Last one on the right. Last one on the left. Back up to center, set down the knees, set down the hips, Sphinx pose. Try to bring the shoulder blades down the back. So you really broaden the collarbone, send your heart forward, engage the glutes. Now if this is already a deep enough back bend for you and you don't want to go any farther, then that's great. Stay here. This is already perfect. This is already enough. Otherwise, if you want to increase it, you can start to straighten your arms, press into the mat. Engage the quads to press the tops of the feet down into the ground and engage the glutes even more. Whatever version you're at, we have 3 more breaths. If you're in seal and you feel like it's too much, too deep, just lower back down into Sphinx. It's perfectly fine. Slowly lower back down to Sphinx. And then all together, hands come underneath the forehead. Again, bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs. And make your way into a tabletop. Wrists come under the shoulders. Lift the chest up. So again, knees are underneath the hips. Start to lift your chest up. Now this time we'll be coming into full camel. Bring both hands onto your low back so the fingers point down towards the floor. Engage the glutes. Start to send your hips forward. And then the gaze starts to come up towards the ceiling. And maybe this is it for you. This is where you're at. And this is enough of a back bend, then it's all good. Otherwise, if you can continue to bring your gaze up along the ceiling all the way until the ceiling meets the wall, then you can place your hands onto your heels for a full camel pose. So whatever variation you took, you're going to engage the glutes even more. And instead of focusing on the concept of bending the back, instead, think of it more like you're stretching the front. Last 2 breaths here. If you took full camel with hands at the heels, then you're going to bring your hands back to your low back one at a time, and then come back up out of the pose all together the same way you went in, so symmetrically. And then set the hips back onto the heels. Again, hero's pose to neutralize the spine, hands on the thighs. 3 deep breaths here. Great job. Blink open the eyes, shift the hips off to one side, and then just come into a cross-legged position. We'll just do an easy forward fold here, so nothing too deep, just a little counter stretch for these back bends. Start to walk your fingertips forward. Nice and slow. Letting those deep breaths pull you into the pose instead of the strength of your hands or the strength of your back. Just rely on the breath a little bit more. Walk your hands back and then switch the legs. And again, walk your hands forward. Take this chance to really slow down the breath. Come back up to a seat, then make your way onto your back. Half Shavasana. Bring the legs together, both legs over to the left side. Extend your right arm out to your right. Now that we're coming into this pose, as we close down our class the same way that we opened it, maybe you can feel a difference in the twist, a difference in the spine. And it's these subtle differences over time. Differences in the mind, the body, the breath, how we react to how we feel in a certain pose. It's all part of the practice. And it's all progress. Even if you don't come deeper into a pose one day to the next, it's still progress just by stepping on the mat, moving your body, connecting to your breath. Bring the knees back up through center and over to the right. Close down the eyes. Relax the body. Relax the face, the muscles in the feet, the hips, and anywhere else in your body that you're holding on to tension or that you're forcing. Become soft. Become light. Put the attention back on the breath. Bring the knees back up to center. Half Shavasana, windshield wiper the knees. And then straighten the legs, Shavasana. Hands come down to your sides, tuck the shoulders under. Close the eyes. If they're not already closed, maybe wiggle the jaw. Let your eyes sink into their sockets. Let the weight of your body just relax onto your mat. Nowhere for you to go. Nothing else for you to do than to just lie here. Give your body and your mind an opportunity to take inventory of all the changes. Just breathe. That's it. Inhale and exhale. Stay here in Shavasana as long as you'd like, but I'll be ending the video here. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice, for sharing your energy with me. And I'll see you in the next video. With love and gratitude, namaste.